When a woman starts saying certain things, the relationship is already over. You just haven't realized it yet. You're still trying to fix what's already been silently buried. Because she doesn't leave when she packs her bags, she leaves long before that. When she stops respecting you, you just don't see it yet. You're still blinded by her presence, thinking her body next to yours means her heart still belongs to you. But in reality, she's gone. Her eyes have shifted, her energy's elsewhere, and her words have started to betray her. Before she ever walks away physically, she starts sending out signals through her language, small phrases that, if you listen carefully, reveal her emotional exit plan. These aren't just random words, they're warnings. They're the last echoes of a love that's quietly fading. And the tragedy is that most men never catch them. They argue, explain, justify, beg. But by the time you start trying to fix it, she's already emotionally detached. This video isn't about bitterness or revenge, it's about clarity. Because the fastest way a man destroys himself is by ignoring the truth that's being whispered right to his face. Once you understand what these words truly mean, you'll stop reacting with emotion and start responding with awareness. Because every man faces this moment at least once in his life, the moment when a woman's tone changes, when affection turns into critique, when softness becomes sarcasm. So listen carefully. These are the phrases that expose when a woman has already checked out emotionally. And more importantly, this is how a man with self respect responds when he hears them. Because the average man argues, the wise man observes, the high value man acts. Let's begin. Number one, you're not as good as other men. When she starts comparing you, the relationship has already started dying. Not because you suddenly became less, but because she stopped seeing you through the lens of admiration. The foundation of feminine attraction is respect, and once that cracks, everything else collapses. Comparison is the language of discontent. And when she begins saying things like, other men treat their women better, or why can't you be more like him? What she's really saying is, I no longer see you as the man I once admired. She's not trying to help you grow, she's trying to make you compete for her approval. But here's a truth most men can't swallow. A woman who's emotionally invested in you doesn't compare you, she compliments you. She may correct you, but she does it with softness. She may challenge you, but it comes from love, not contempt. When she respects you, even your flaws are seen through the lens of faith. She'll remind you of who you are when you forget. But once she starts holding you against another man's standard, she's no longer with you. She's comparing potential replacements. She's scanning, testing, evaluating, trying to justify her emotional withdrawal. And that's where most men lose themselves. They start overcompensating, proving, chasing validation. They start working harder to be chosen again, unaware that they're no longer being loved. They're being measured. The moment you start competing with other men for your own woman's approval, you've already lost the frame. Because love isn't a race, it's recognition. And if she has to compare to appreciate, she's already halfway out the door. A woman who truly loves you never compares you. She chooses you, even when you're imperfect, even when it's not convenient. She doesn't make you feel like a contestant. She makes you feel like a man. And that's exactly why the next point cuts even deeper, because this is where her words turn from comparison to control. Number two, if you love me, do this. That single sentence is one of the most dangerous weapons in emotional warfare. It sounds soft, even romantic, but beneath the sweetness lies manipulation. It's emotional blackmail dressed as affection. When she says this, she's not asking, you're being tested. What she truly means is, let's see how much of yourself you're willing to give up to keep me. Weak men fall for this trap every time. They hear that phrase and think, she just needs reassurance. Maybe if I show her how much I care, she'll feel safe again. But, brother, what she's really doing is redefining love as submission. Every time you obey that hidden command, you trade a piece of your self respect for temporary peace. Because the moment love becomes conditional, it stops being love. It becomes leverage. If you love me, buy this. If you love me, quit that. If you love me, prove it. Number. Real love doesn't need proof. It doesn't need conditions. It doesn't demand that you bend to every emotional whim just to keep someone happy. Love that requires sacrifice of your integrity isn't devotion, it's dependency. here's the hidden danger. Once you fall for this manipulation, it never ends. The more you give, the more she'll expect. The more you sacrifice, the more she'll take. And when she meets someone who can give more attention, more money, more effort, she'll leave because she never wanted you. She wanted the feeling you gave her when you were bending over backwards. Understand this clearly. Women test men not because they're cruel, but because they crave to feel the depth of your masculine backbone. The moment you show that your love is negotiable, she'll lose interest. She might not even know why, but subconsciously she'll feel it. She'll sense that you're now orbiting around her approval instead of standing firm in your truth. A woman who genuinely loves you won't test your loyalty through ultimatums. She'll test it through time, through consistency, through the peace she feels in your presence. She won't say, if you love me, do this. She'll say, I love you, even when you can't meet her demands. Because her love isn't a negotiation, it's an alignment. That's the kind of woman a high value man waits for. The one who mirrors his strength, not the one who drains it. The one who inspires his growth, not manipulates it. And here's where most men fall deeper into the trap. Once they start bending for love, they get addicted to the chase. They start believing that proving themselves is the way to keep her. They become employees in their own relationship, constantly trying to perform, impress, please. But love isn't a job interview. You don't have to audition to be worthy, which brings us to the next phrase, a sentence that sounds harmless at first but hides an even deeper poison. Number 3, what have you done for me since we started? This sentence cuts deeper than most realize. It's not a question, it's a judgment. It's not curiosity, it's calculation. The moment a woman starts saying this, the relationship shifts from connection to competition. Love becomes a scoreboard, and every act of care you once gave out of affection now gets weighed against an invisible list she's keeping in her head. But here's the truth that hurts. Genuine love doesn't keep score. It recognizes effort even when it's imperfect. It values intention, not just results. When a woman truly loves you, she'll notice the small things, the quiet consistency, the emotional presence, the way you show up even when you're tired, broke, or uncertain. She'll see value in your effort because her heart is tuned to gratitude. But the entitled one? She forgets everything good you've done the moment you say no once. You could move mountains, build dreams, sacrifice sleep, and she'll still look at you with cold eyes and say, what have you done for me lately? And that, my brother, is the moment her love turns transactional. She's no longer seeing you as a man. She's seeing you as a service, a provider, a function. And you'll feel it in her tone. The warmth fades, the appreciation dies, and suddenly, nothing you do is enough. That's the trap that breaks most men. They keep trying harder. They buy gifts, plan trips, work longer hours, all hoping that maybe this time she'll notice. But some people don't have a gratitude problem. They have an emptiness problem. And no matter how much you pour in, it will never be enough to fill them. A woman who genuinely loves you doesn't ask, what have you done for me? And she says, you've already done enough. I just want peace with you. She doesn't measure your worth by your wallet or your gestures or your accomplishments. She measures it by your consistency, your presence, your stability. There are two kinds of women: the one who remembers every small thing you do with a smile, and the one who erases every good memory the second she's upset. The first one builds a kingdom with you. The second one drains every ounce of life out of you and then blames you for being tired. When a woman keeps score, she's preparing for her exit. She's building a case for why leaving you will make sense later. Her list isn't about accountability, it's about justification. So stop trying to buy love that's already been emotionally refunded. Stop chasing appreciation from someone who only gives attention when you perform. Because the truth is, the woman meant for you won't count your acts of love. She'll multiply them. She won't weaponize your effort. She'll honor it. And that's why the next phrase is even more dangerous. Because unlike the others, it often appears early, right at the start, when everything still feels perfect. But if you miss it, you'll end up emotionally trapped before you even realize what's happening. Number 4, give me time to know you first. At first, this line sounds harmless. It even feels mature. You think she's being wise, careful, emotionally intelligent. You might even tell yourself, good, she's not rushing into things. But if you listen closely, if you pay attention to her tone, her eyes, her timing, this phrase often hides hesitation, not wisdom. When a woman truly feels drawn to you, she doesn't need time to know you. She needs moments to feel you. Attraction, when real, doesn't require long observation. It demands emotional recognition. She feels your presence before she even understands your story. She wants to discover you, not delay you. But when she says, "Give me time," what she's often saying is, "I'm not sure yet, but I also don't want to close the door." It's a way to keep you orbiting her energy while she figures out whether someone else might fit better. She doesn't want to lose your attention, but she doesn't want to give you certainty either. That's how many men end up stuck in emotional limbo, investing energy, time, and emotion into a woman who's keeping them as a safety net. You start texting daily, giving effort, being consistent, and telling yourself it's progress. But what's actually happening is simple. She's sampling your energy without committing to it. She'll keep you around because you make her feel wanted. You feed her ego, you provide emotional comfort, you fill empty spaces between her moments of excitement. But deep down, she's not moving closer. She's just making sure you don't move away. Understand this. When a woman truly wants you, she doesn't ask for time. She makes time. She doesn't say, "I need to know you better." She says, "Tell me everything about you." She doesn't delay connection. She deepens it. She becomes curious, present, invested. There's a difference between a woman who's cautious and one who's detached. The cautious woman is emotionally available but slow to open her trust. The detached one is emotionally distant but skilled at pretending interest. The first one protects her heart. The second one protects her options. So when she says, "Give me time to know you first," don't argue. Don't chase. Don't try to convince her that you're worth choosing. Because every moment you spend trying to prove your value to someone undecided, you lower your own. Instead, take a step back. Observe. Watch how she moves when you stop reaching out. If she truly values your energy, she'll come closer. If she doesn't, she'll fade. And that silence will tell you everything words couldn't. A woman who genuinely sees your worth will never risk losing you just to take her time. Because real feminine attraction doesn't procrastinate, it gravitates. But here's where it gets darker. Sometimes, when she's emotionally disconnected yet still wants control, she'll use a much sharper phrase, one that hits below the belt, and every man who's heard it remembers how it felt. 5. My ex wasn't that bad like you. When those words leave her mouth, understand this. It's not about her ex, it's about control. She's not reminiscing, she's retaliating. She's trying to wound your sense of worth to regain emotional power. The moment a woman starts bringing her ex into your dynamic, it's no longer love, it's psychological warfare. Because a woman who has truly moved on doesn't weaponize her past. She doesn't need to drag old ghosts into new rooms. When she still references another man, it means he still occupies emotional real estate in her mind, and she's using that memory to measure your value. When she says, "My ex wasn't that bad like you," what she's really saying is, "I've lost emotional control over you, and I need to remind myself that I can still hurt you." It's a power play disguised as disappointment, and it's one of the clearest signs she's already disconnected from you. Most men make the same mistake right here. They take the bait. They start defending themselves, comparing, explaining. They say things like, "Well, if he was so great, why aren't you with him?" Or, "I'm not like your ex, I treat you better." But here's the truth. The moment you start debating your worth, you've already given it away. You cannot argue your way back into respect. Once she uses her ex as a tool to control you, the dynamic is broken. You're no longer her equal. You've become her target. A high value man doesn't respond emotionally to comparison. He observes, nods, and walks away with his composure intact. Because he understands that any woman who needs to weaponize her past is already contaminated by it. You see, a woman who truly respects you doesn't need to diminish you to feel empowered. She doesn't compare. She protects. She won't say, "My ex wasn't that bad." She'll say, "You make me feel things I've never felt before." She won't use the past as a weapon, she'll leave it buried. When she starts talking about her ex in arguments, she's not just showing disrespect, she's showing you her emotional maturity level. She's telling you that she hasn't healed, that she's still operating from pain, that she needs validation through conflict. And that's not love, that's chaos disguised as passion. Let me be very clear here. A woman who compares you to her ex is showing you what kind of partner she'll become when things get hard. Because if she can't control her emotions, she'll always reach for something that makes you feel small. And once respect dies, attraction follows. There's no recovery from that. You can't rebuild admiration through arguments or explanations. The only language that restores respect is distance. So when she says, "My ex wasn't that bad like you," don't match her energy. Don't raise your voice. Don't insult back. Just look at her with quiet clarity, knowing that she's already shown her true face, and that's all the closure you'll ever need. Because love without respect is slavery, and that's why the next phrase hits even harder, because it's the final one. It's the mask that every emotionally unavailable woman wears when she's already halfway gone but doesn't want to look like the villain. Number 6, I'm not ready for something serious. It sounds reasonable, it sounds calm. You might even respect her honesty. But beneath those polite words lies one of the most deceptive phrases a man will ever hear. Because when a woman says she's not ready, she's not confessing confusion, she's declaring disinterest. A woman who truly feels drawn to you will never be not ready. She might be scared, yes. She might be uncertain, but she'll still move toward you, not away from you. She'll say, "I don't know where this is going, but I know I don't want to lose this." That's real vulnerability. That's genuine connection. But when she says, "I'm not ready for something serious," what she really means is, "I don't want to commit to you, but I also don't want you to stop giving me attention." It's a form of emotional hoarding. She wants your energy, your care, your presence, but without accountability. She wants to feel wanted, but not bound. And this is where most men break themselves. They hear that phrase and think, maybe if I'm patient, she'll come around. So they wait. They stay. They keep giving her boyfriend energy while she keeps him in friend zone conditions. Weeks turn into months, and soon you realize she's moved on, emotionally, if not physically. Here's the cold truth. It's never about timing. It's about desire. The same woman who tells you she's not ready for something serious will meet another man a month later and suddenly be sure. She'll start planning trips, talking about the future, introducing him to her friends, because it was never that she wasn't ready. It was that she wasn't ready for you. When a woman's heart truly aligns with yours, she doesn't delay connection. She dives into it. She doesn't hide behind phrases of fear, she faces them. Because love, when real, doesn't make you uncertain, it makes you brave. That's why this phrase, "I'm not ready for something serious," well, it should never make you negotiate your worth. Don't try to persuade her. Don't make promises. Don't lower your standards to fit her confusion. Simply nod, smile, step back, let her have the space she says she needs. Because if she truly values your energy, she'll come back with clarity. But if she doesn't, that silence will reveal her truth. Understand this, brother. Every day you wait for someone unsure about you, you betray yourself a little more. You start dimming your own light, hoping it'll make her comfortable in her indecision. But it never works. You can't inspire certainty in someone who benefits from your confusion. A high value man doesn't chase clarity from the unclear. He builds peace in his absence, not chaos in his waiting. Because love isn't something you convince someone to feel, it's something that naturally recognizes you. So when she says, "I'm not ready for something serious," don't take it as rejection. Take it as redirection. She's just not aligned with the level you're operating at, and that's okay, because the right woman won't need time to decide. She'll recognize you instantly, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. But before we close this message, there's one final truth that ties all these signs together. The one lesson that separates men who keep repeating heartbreak from those who rise above it forever. Here's the truth most men never learn until it's too late. Women rarely leave suddenly. They disconnect slowly, emotion by emotion, word by word, until one day you wake up next to someone who's already gone. By the time she says any of these phrases, "You're not as good as other men," "If you love me, do this," "What have you done for me?" "Give me time to know you," "My ex wasn't that bad," or "I'm not ready for something serious," she's already been rehearsing her exit in her mind. The tragedy is that men don't listen. We hear the words, but we don't decode the meaning. We argue instead of observing. We fight for explanations when what we really need is distance. But the truth is, when a woman loses respect for you, no amount of persuasion, gifts, or patience will resurrect that feeling. Respect is like glass. Once it's cracked, you can glue it back together, but it will never be clear again. A woman's words reveal where her heart is long before her actions do. And that's the gift in all of this. If you're paying attention, she'll tell you everything. She'll show you when she's inspired by you, and she'll show you when she's done. Your job as a man isn't to fix her emotions, it's to stay grounded in yours. See, the masculine mistake is trying to win her back through logic or effort. But attraction isn't earned through explanation, it's maintained through energy. Once your energy shifts into desperation, her attraction dies. Because no woman can respect a man who abandons his own self respect just to keep her comfortable. So, what should you do instead? When she starts saying these things, don't argue, don't beg, don't negotiate your dignity for her attention. Stand still, observe, accept what she's showing you, and then make a decision that honors your value. Because walking away doesn't mean you've lost her, it means you've found yourself again. A high value man understands that love is not proven through pain, it's proven through peace. He doesn't chase what needs convincing. He doesn't fight for someone who's already emotionally gone. He simply walks in silence, knowing that his absence will say what his words never could. And here's the paradox: the moment you stop chasing her, that's when she often comes back. Because a woman may leave a man she loves, but she will always return to the man she respects. And respect is born from boundaries, not begging. So if she says any of these phrases, don't take it as defeat. Take it as divine direction. It's the universe showing you where your value ends and your lessons begin. Because every rejection is just redirection towards someone who can meet you where you truly are. Remember this: the right woman won't make you earn her peace. She'll build it with you. She won't test your love through manipulation. She'll nurture it through loyalty. She won't say, "If you love me, do this." She'll say, "If you need to grow, I'll wait." That's the difference between a woman who uses you and one who chooses you. So from now on, stop fearing the words that end things. Start respecting them. Because when she speaks, she's not breaking you. She's revealing what no longer deserves your energy. And when you finally learn to walk away with silence instead of begging for closure, that's when you become untouchable. That's when peace replaces pain. And that's when you realize you never really lost her. You just finally found you.